Hey everyone, again we are back with episode 5, Customer-Centric Digital Models. As usual, I have Jazz with me. We're going to talk about customer centricity on digital standards and models in the industry for best practices and how those influence environment, finance, operational efficiency, and customer experience. Hey Jazz, welcome back.
Hi, Nev. Thanks. Great to be back.
Awesome. So today, let's begin with environmental question. That's how do digital customer engagement models reduce environmental footprints? So what does it mean really? How the digital standards today that the world has evolved over the last 2 decades or more, how is that impacting the environmental footprint? Sustainability is all around the world. Every country, like within the global warming and stuff, like and renewable energy, everyone is focusing on that. So how this digital aspect is influencing it. What my take is, I think the major effect of digitization is like logistics industry affects a lot to the environment. For example, like if companies understand customers better, and if companies understand the customers needs, the market research driven upcoming demand predictions. So if data driven perspective can tell companies, okay, how much inventory you have to maintain, otherwise like companies have like multiple warehouses full of inventory, and that is like waste of space. Not every single thing is required every day. So a nice logical inventory management system based on prediction, based on customers intent signals, and based on understanding with prospects and customers and industry demand budgets of the company, like all these things can be considered to maintain the logistics the of the supply chain, right? And then travel management is a huge thing too, like commute, business travel, customer meetings travel. Those are expensive and those are time consuming and slow too. Also, of course, there is a benefit in person conversations, but as we have discussed a few times already in this series, that virtual meetings with customers also make sense. We are used to that now. The new world for the last few years have changed towards the virtual everything, right? So I think controlling travel and better logistics management can help a lot using the digital technology in terms of saving the environment. And then personalized digital experience. It is a game changer. It is definitely helps a lot. Take on Amazon, eBay, or even Facebook, all those social media sites. Uh, they show you the content that you really like based on your choices, based on your history of usage, based on your intent signals through third-party resources. So that way, like customers or users do not have to scroll through the tools or scroll through your catalog. I mean, more time they consume on your system means more resources are being used in the backend. So personalization can help a lot to help on this aspect. And then smarter customer support. What is smarter means? Smarter means less resolution time. Okay, reduce the resolution time, and then um, the wait time should also be less, right? So um, talk to customers in more clear way, so you help resolve and improve on the customer satisfaction. And then
Mm.
also look at the e-commerce perspective. We all are over purchasing things on different websites. Amazon only have like their huge return management platform and the whole group managing returns. Imagine how many trucks are moving on the road every day just for handling returns, right? If better description, better content, or better details about the products are shown within the checkout page, customers can make less mistakes, and eventually it will help reducing number of returns. Okay, Sometimes like even I have experienced like purchased the thing and then realized, look, if the size is wrong or the description on the site
Mm,
was wrong or the color is not the same as it was looking on the website if I'm buying some clothes, right? So things
mm,
like that. And convenience of returns actually make us buy even more, right? So I think if
mm,
we can have better
mm,
information shown on the checkout page up front, um, can reduce that returns process. Okay, so it is helpful. Um, in overall, like in the nutshell, I would say like definitely personalization is the key here from my perspective because it can reduce time to check out. It can reduce time even on the digital channel to return on anything. So and also can give companies better insights about the customers, what are they using, what they want in the future, so they can manage their inventory accordingly. What's your thought?
mm, mm. I mean, you brought up a good point on the e-commerce, where that's where I see, ironically, maybe the whole digital customer engagement model becomes like a double-edged sword almost sometimes, because you make it so seamless for customers to do certain things, that they end up doing it or purchasing more than needed, right? That leads to more waste. So one example that I can think of is as well like fast fashion. There's
Mm.
this big brand in Asia. They are very famous for their turnkey kind of fashion on demand. That means they can produce on demand, and they use the influencers network to kind of drive that awareness and promote, via live streams and buy on demand, that kind of thing. And then when customers order, then the production is made, is generated, and they can turn around within like days. So then the question is, what is the environmental impact for such fast fashion merchandise? Because I saw an article as well that actually the impact is quite severe. There is always a catch when companies can turn around goods at such speed, lightning pace. That means they are compensating on the quality. There's generating a lot of toxic waste, and that is
Mm-hmm.
hurtful for the environment, and it's also hurtful for the consumers themselves. It's just that the consumers themselves don't necessarily know what goes into the each piece of manufactured product, until maybe years later when it becomes cancerous or something. So I
Mm.
think these are the things that companies and consumers alike need to be aware, when it comes to, say, environmental footprint, and then how they should be using digital engagement models or digital
Yeah.
centric models in a smarter way. So another classic example is because I just came back from a conference in the UAE, where everybody's very excited still about the whole digitalization, mobilization of their channels, talking about onboarding, digital onboarding, mobile adoption, driving mobile adoption, so that they can offer more services to a wider pool of audience, consumers, as part of financial inclusion. So I think that itself is a good thing, where then we can see that the digital banks can actually reach out to a wider pool of audience or consumers that otherwise wouldn't have been able to get access to these services, because they don't have like a traditional kind of requirements needed by traditional banks, like credit
Mm-hmm.
profile, credit ratings, and things like that, right? That's one side, and then the other side, of course, is you can reduce a lot of paper forms, paper onboarding. You can reduce physical letters if everything can be communicated digitally, as long as they have access to Wi-Fi, they can have access to such services. I think that's the whole idea of how we can use it in a better way. to serve customers, reduce all your physical and digital, like physical footprints, and reduce the need for physical branches as well as part of the longer term strategy, or look at smarter ways to use your physical space, to drive more customer centric solutions. So yeah, that's my take on this.
Great. No, great insight. Yeah,
Mm,
I sold something today,
mm,
uh, and then I had to like sign few papers, and then I asked like
mm,
the person like, hey,
mm.
don't you do DocuSign or like e documents and digital signatures? Oh yes, we do.
Yeah,
I just asked out of like curiosity
yeah,
if they are
yeah,
even aware of that, and they do have that in the system. I said like, why are you doing paperwork then? and uh,
yeah.
and yeah, another example I'm thinking about right now is McDonald's. They have done a great job on
Mm,
digitizing and going away from a lot of manual processes, a lot of paper stuff. And I mean, they are
mm,
very eco-friendly right now. I mean, any store, McDonald's place we go to, for last like I think couple of years, especially in the last 1 year or so. Uh, Most of their branches are like very much automated and self-service
mm,
driven, and
mm,
like all like from your phone, from kiosk, and you can place order and things come quickly. It's very user friendly, very eco friendly, and I wasn't fan of McDonald's for a long time because I don't eat burgers, but
mm,
since my sons love burgers and pizzas, so I started going to
mm,
these places, and I do like McDonald's from their strategic side, from their like business
mm.
implementation side. They're very smart. They're very strategic. So I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
yeah,
So yeah, talking from a
absolutely. I mean,
customer
everybody loves
mentality.
burgers.
Yeah. I do from inside, but I avoid. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So yeah, uh, yeah. So I mean, like this is a customer speaking. So really, so
Mm,
that kind of voice of customer really add value to business growth. So I'm
for
sure
sure, for
every
sure.
McDonald's
Yeah.
customer, every McDonald's customer is talking positive about them. Okay. All right. Let's move over to financial aspect. So what is the return on investment for implementing digital customer centric strategies? So what I believe on customer centric strategies is data have proven multiple times in multiple research reports that your existing customers is gold. So
Mm,
80% of the revenue usually comes from 20% of your existing customers. It is about truth for most of the companies. And like um, on the flip side, it takes 80% of efforts to grow 20% of additional customers. So, but it's easy to retain your customers. So I I highly recommend when it comes to financial goals, prioritize your existing customers. Customer retention is a key. Reduce churn, and your financial graph will not fall. Definitely, and that can never go wrong. More data-driven decisions to help improve on conversions. So again, like it comes to personalization, if we have digital experience implemented more on the data-driven, like identify a, a user on the property and understand their persona, their trail of actions and activities on our channels, and then show them the right thing with the most interesting angle, and show the right content at the right time, even present the hook if it is needed, and it will maximize the chance for conversion. So increasing on the conversion is, I think, very again important to grow on beyond existing customers. And reducing customer acquisition cost certainly helps as well.
mm,
How to reduce it? I have the whole different topic to cover on that aspect. It's a long one, but in
mm,
short, I would say like clarity is the key here, like customer
mm,
acquisition. So time, cost equals time here as well, right? So provide good amount of information up front, be honest, be clear, be personalized, be emotionally connected as well, and find the
Mm,
moment of truth as soon as possible to convert. And that is something very important. And uh, like e-commerce website, you can also experience like when you have control on what you do, it's high chance
mm,
that you will end up buying things from from companies like e-commerce sites. Um, like you go to malls and you pick up stuff and you end up buying even more. Like you go for a milk, but you end
mm,
up the cart full of shopping, right? So self-service portals uh, help use of human resources on more relevant tasks. Uh,
mm,
so again, like provide customers the self-service ability to do whatever they want and then help them get there. And also on the other side, within the company, um, train your employees um, directly related tasks to the customer activities, okay, so that they
mm,
can provide that customer experience in a much better way. And
mm,
that alignment between staff and customers actions will also reduce cost ultimately, okay. And then finally, like I would say, focus on what matters with customers, not to the fancy of
mm.
brand, not to the, I mean, brand will shine automatically when customers are happy. That's the byproduct of happy customers,
Yeah.
but focus on what matters to customers, okay. And
Mm, mm,
yeah, and our ROI will follow by itself. So focus on customers and what
mm,
matters to them, on their priorities, on their convenience, on their experience, uh,
mm,
and align everything within a company according to that. And find strengths of the companies, and then I think that's a good intersection of
mm, mm,
strength of employees and demand of customers to blend. Again, I would finish it by the last but not the least actually, but internal clarity on brand perception is important. Uh, Many times I have seen like employees of the company do not understand the purpose of the company they work for. So the internal clarity on the brand perception for employees is also important because you preach what you follow, right? So
yeah.
if you don't understand your brand well, how will you convey that branded message to your customers? Because and customers will perceive your brand, not the company color or the font or the logo, right?
Yeah.
They perceive company's brand based on the company's behavior for them and the quality of service to them, right?
Mm,
So and quality can be good only when employee understand that brand perception, right? And then yeah, again, like again, same thing. A stronger brand reputation builds trust. So and that gives you the competitive advantage. Focus on employees for branding, and it will help uh, develop good brand with customers as well.
mm, mm. I mean, I wonder sometimes it's also because there different teams are looking at different metrics, when they might measure success. Like for example, you might have the customer experience team looking at things like NPS scores, like net promoter scores, as a measurement of their own success. Whereas, of course, then you talk to the sales teams, they are all about sales figures and sales numbers. So then it's very hard to connect the dots, right? Because they say, okay, the NPS scores are like so good, but then how come our sales is still not, ticking in the right way? So there's still kind of like a disconnect um, that the two teams are seeing, which is not so simple. It's not a one for one kind of thing, right? It's not like NPS one plus, sales figure equals to this, So I guess companies need to probably look at it a bit more holistically because customer experience, yes, they will eventually. They might not immediately, but they will almost certainly improve your eventual sales figures and profitability. That's what I've seen and I believe till today. And you brought up a good point where, ultimately it's all about addressing the needs of your customers, right? That reminds me of my experience going into certain companies where you have people just peddling products, right? Even on the digital channels, they'll just be talking amongst themselves saying, this product drives the highest revenue, so I need to have it front and center on the mobile app, for example. And then there will be other teams saying, but our product is not getting attention, and so all the more it should be front and center and the more on the mobile app so that it gets more attention. So suddenly it becomes so argumentative, and then they get completely missing the point on. And then I will just ask them, so, but what is it that customers care about, Like, do they actually need this in the first place, or, they need something else? So I think it's very key for brands to bring the focus back on the customer. If you address the pain points of the customer, then yes, they will have that loyalty to your app or your platform and your brand. There will be stickiness, and ultimately that's what I think digital good digital strategy will help in terms of driving, which is customer stickiness, from pulling them into the app, and also using push messages to kind of pull them into the app. And then that's also where we look at the entire customer journey, the customer experience within your digital space as well as your physical space. I think that is very important for brands that are omni-channel. Because you imagine, let's say if your physical store is classified in a certain way, imagine it's a huge departmental store or grocery store. You have categories of things like vegetables are here, cookies are here. But then when customers go into your digital
Yeah.
channel, the categorization is completely different. They will be confused. I think there's always some sort of, they would like some familiarity going into your digital space that they see in your physical space as well. And also in your digital space, if it's like a huge mess that doesn't make sense in terms of the classification, then they will be more likely to just get whatever they can find on the first page. If your search doesn't work properly, they probably will just lose patience, or your search is not even accurate. They buy
Mm.
whatever that they can find, and then that's it. Unlikely they would spend time, plowing through your app, pages and pages of content, unless they are super bored, like they have nothing to do, better to do with their time. So it's really important. That's why I believe
And they send it
kind of
back.
like customer
But
centric kind of testing and user testing is
yeah,
very, very important to get it right if you really want to see ROI. And that is being customer centric, to me.
true,
Yeah.
true. User testing is
Mm.
yeah, that's valid, very valid. Talking about NPS, you mentioned, that reminds
Yeah.
me a LinkedIn post today I saw from a
Mm,
LinkedIn friend,
mm,
Jack Hamilton. It's
mm.
funny. He wrote NPS is like a friend who brags about his son who's been improved very much on the basketball, but
Mhm.
eventually he never won a medal. Right? The kid who has never won a
Yeah.
medal, but the father is bragging that he's been improving on the basketball new tricks, right? So yeah,
Mm,
NPS
mm,
is that, he said, and you're right, Zach. So yeah, so just a number is not enough. There is a lot
mm.
behind NPS that should be addressed, yeah, end to end, holistically.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah. Let's switch to operational efficiency now. And the question is, in what ways do these models streamline customer service operations? So these models, the digital models. Okay. So I'll start with chatbot. I love chatbots. It's a great tool, but every chatbot I have worked on as in like I have used on web, they suck. Uh, they don't work the way today it can work. Um,
Mm,
customers' habits have changed over time a lot, and many tools are still like they are very standard, scripted. Start with a form with five options, sales, customer support, HR, and things like that, and there is a wait time to get to someone, a real person to talk to. Bots can be improved using AI to be very customer friendly, and it can it can help companies big time. So I love and hate chatbots at the same time. I love because it's very promising tool. I hate most chatbots suck. Um, yeah, that's the ridiculous truth. If this tool is implemented correctly and used efficiently, I think it can be a game changer. And especially this Chat GPT have opened up many areas to implement the interactive chat without any human intervention and make it work with omni-channel, feed data from all customer-related data sources, blend it with generative AI, different models, train them with customer-specific data, and and see what it can do. I am also involved in some of such kind of an implementation, and I am also hearing a lot of companies are trying it. So I'm hoping in next maybe few months, uh, certainly in this year, my perception will change on chatbots. But it's definitely key. And that we talked just right a few minutes before also like self-service for customers. If customers are in control on what are they doing using chatbots, they can clear their doubts and can make decisions faster, right? So chatbots can also help resolving customer tickets, upselling, cross-selling customers on the website, for example, to buy a T-shirt. Like you go to a grocery store for a milk, but you end up buying the whole cart full of stuff. Um, Similarly, I don't encourage over purchasing, but it's an example. So upselling and cross-selling can be handled using intelligent chatbots very well because they are capable of it if trained correctly. And they can also create pipeline for sales, which is like a bread and butter for sales, and they are always hungry for pipeline. And this is what chatbot can do. I mean, my whole point here is from operational efficiency to encourage building self-service enablement for customers. And look at your data. Every single touch point that was initiated by customers, because that's where the goal is. Uh, Customers, where are they starting? And then start from there. Uh, Target every single problem from that point onward, where they are bouncing back, where they are stopping their journey, or even like what are the happy journeys um, that are ending up you customers to convert, to purchase, or to give us their information. Like different segments, B2B, B2C have different kind of conversion definitions. But yeah, if there are problems, sure, address those. No problem, that's good sign. Still, there is a lot to improve on top of that. So yeah, if customers are happy, encourage more customers to send to that journey path using that personalized experience, because we know that path works better than others. How much time customers are spending to find the info they are looking for? We talked about that also previously. That customer acquisition time needs to be in control.
mm,
So if they are taking too long time, I mean, they get frustrated and jump off. But even if they are buying because they don't get any other option, still like longer than usual time is the flag. Not many customers will
mm,
follow up that path and automate as much as
mm,
possible in this path. I have seen an example recently through an article, I think it was yesterday on Forbes. Just by using AI, Lyft, a rideshare company, has been able to reduce
mm,
average resolution time of customer support tickets by 87%, just by bots,
mm, mm,
just by
mm,
managing their data correctly. I mean, it's one-time investment
mm,
and maintenance there on only, and like a lot of human time has been reduced to resolve customer tickets. See, 87% reduction. It's ridiculous. It's like
mm,
they
mm,
doubled up their resolution results, right? And
mm,
yeah, I'll close with like prioritize customer retention by keeping them happy and saving their time. Time is critical, and convenience is the next big thing customers want. So keep them into that zone and provide everything within that zone. I think you will have less customer churn.
Mm-mm. I think for sure. I know everybody is very excited about this whole Gen AI powered type of virtual chat agents, chatbots, right? The promise is real, I guess.
Yep,
But I mean, I personally, I do have a love hate relationship myself with chatbots. Even though I hate taking physical calls even more. So, but so far the chatbots have been, quite disappointing, right? And a lot of people like kind of like got tired of them because the chatbots are not that smart, right? But
correct.
now with AI, Gen AI, because they are able to kind of plow through all the huge resources that's and the answers sitting within your different database, able to consolidate that into something of a smart short summary of what's happening in terms of the customer, and also addressing some of their pain points, then that actually provides helpful answers on the fly, at the touch of a keyboard for your call center agents as well as your frontline service customer people to address customer queries more efficiently and more accurately. I think efficiency as well as accuracy, I think those two need to work hand in hand because nobody wants to
Absolutely.
yeah, nobody wants to receive like inaccurate replies, which is one of the biggest pain points till now. That's what I've been
Hmm.
hearing as well from
Hmm.
customers. But then before companies get too excited and started thinking that they can let go of a bunch of their call center people, they need to think about their data readiness, actually, whether their data is even ready, is even clean, and also think about where their data is still sitting, because the Gen AI is not a miracle worker. They cannot just simply plug whatever LM onto your data warehouse or your data lake and expect them to be able to extract something on the fly. It still doesn't work that way. You still need a layer in between your data lake as well as the LLM, like a customer data platform that helps to connect the dots and also make sure that you're not just putting a bunch of like data that's not valuable, because you will face a really high cost, because how this Gen AI works as well is in terms of tokens, right? They measure by tokens. So the more massive amount of data you're getting them to churn through, the more it's going to cost you. So it will actually cost you a lot if you are just dumping data, like a whole
Mm,
massive volumes of data into the tool itself. Yeah, so I
right.
think that part is good. And then of course there's also this virtual chat agents doing outbound calls. I talked about it actually yesterday at the conference itself, where there are cases where they can do as many as 15,000 calls a day, to get leads to sell services and things like that. But then, of course, I think the question that companies also need to ask themselves is how scalable is that solution, to the market that you're in. Of course, if your market remains very receptive to, like, consumers are very happy to get calls from random people, sure, that will increase your productivity. You probably don't need as many kind of like outbound call center agents to do that, at a human scale. You can rely on the virtual chatbots to help you make the calls. But if you're in a market that is very conscious of scam calls, then you definitely not worth looking at this kind of investment, right? Because the people don't even want to answer calls anymore. So, and also with this deep fake happening, a lot of people are also very conscious of such calls and taking up such calls. Then the question you probably need to ask yourself is, why are you still taking calls, at this day and age? Right? Like, shouldn't you be looking at something a bit more truly digital in a different form, to engage with prospects and also, with existing customers. Why are you still even calling your customers to get them to buy into
Hmm.
like other products? Shouldn't you be engaging them in a different way through your digital channels, for example? Yeah. So I think people, like companies, need to look at it holistically and also with a longer term perspective if they really want to be customer centric and to improve on their operational efficiency. Yeah,
Makes
that's
sense.
that's my
Yeah.
take.
No, no, definitely. Yeah, you brought up good points about like calling again, like
Mm,
happy customers in directly proportion to the ROI, right? So um, yeah, so these things have to improve automation perspective and having these systems trained enough with good data uh, to address customer needs by the system itself with less human intervention. But
mm,
yeah, it will take time. It will take time. We are getting there. Um, ChatGPT actually opened that track. Before, without it, like before ChatGPT was there, yeah, it was a struggle to implement that. Everything was rule based. Like if customer is saying this, okay, these are the options, and then there are different paths based on conditions and pattern matching. But now with AI, um, there are a lot of dynamic aspects got into the mix, which is very helpful. I think what problems you are bringing up here are work in progress right now to get resolved. Let's hope we see these working efficiently quite soon. All right, with that, let's move on to our next and the last topic, customer experience for today. Digital models enhance the overall customer journey. So I would look at the biggest possible perspective here because customer journey starts even before customer starts talking to you, starts talking to your any channel. For example, like when customer is driving into the office,
mm,
customer experience starts all the way from the parking lot. If you have a billboard on the roadside, that influences your customer experience too. That's passive customer experience. So there are a lot of things typically underestimated when it comes to like holistic customer experience. So my key here is when we're talking about digital aspect of the customer journey. Um, so think as big as possible, um, not just when customer is on your website or on your mobile app or receives an email. There are more areas to consider in the customer journey. With that understanding, when connected systems are working, I use term like orchestration. Uh, when systems are orchestrated correctly uh, behind the scene, that provide really good experience to customers across any single channel, any and every single channel where customers are interacting with your business. An example is coming to my mind right now. For like you're on the website, I'm talking about a B2B example right now. So if a customer is on your website, have seen few pages, opened up an ebook, and then still not satisfied and triggered a chat. Okay, we just talked a lot about chatbot, but that's a perfect example here. Um,
mm,
so let let's look at a scenario when chatbot says, "Hey, Mr. A, you have seen these pages, you have viewed that ebook, and you are ready to go." I mean, if systems understand what customers are already doing and chatbot is ready uh, to recap customers' touch points or the journey, and that can predict the next most likely step that customers can take, and then address that in the most relevant way, so that there is no after three steps there is just fourth, and then conversion happens. So chatbots. So I mean, then when systems are connected, correctly, orchestrated efficiently, and then personalized experience will help um, grow business, and that improves the customer experience. And that emotional element in this, like when customer will realize, okay, hey, system understands me very well. So I mean, that's the first step, a positive reaction from the customer's mind for the business, like they are smart. And then next thing I should consider, like customers get frustrated when they need support and there is a long wait time. Okay. Or or customers jump from person to person to get to the resolution. So these are the things they actually frustrate customers. So again, it comes back to the connected system. Uh, when systems talk to each other, tools can understand customers' pain points better and can
Mm,
directly send to that relevant person who can actually address the situation. Okay. Listen to voice of customers. Customers don't just talk to you about you. Customers talk on different areas, on social media, on review sites. There are a lot of places where customers talk about you. Keep an eye and ear open to those areas as well, and listen to them, and pay attention to that as well. Create an actionable items from that and goals to address those, and try to influence those feedback. Talk to those customers about that feedback you receive, and then act on it. Not just the voice, also listen to silence of customers. So
mm,
customers usually who are not happy, they go quiet and eventually they leave. When the renewal cycle is there, they just go. They don't bother to renew from that point onward. That's the signal systems should also detect and notify the right people to talk to those customers and try to change their mind and retain them. And we touched on that aspect also previously. Like 80% of your revenue is coming from your existing 20% of customers, right? So
mm,
avoid the churn as much as possible here. Um,
mm,
Talk to customers even when they are silent. So have your signals in place to tell you like when the customer goes silent, right? It's a very strong signal. So yeah, and work on building customer data profiling where like existing customers, prospects, and even for the same customers, every single angle, the product in use and what other products, the tech stack, their revenue, their persona, their engagement history with us, their what information they have consumed from us, how many times they are visiting our sites, like all that thing, like build your customer profiling in 360-degree way, so
mm,
you can understand um, the customer's pain points and needs right on the time, and have your cross teams collaborated internally through operational efficiency aspect. Okay, and have your teams talk to each other, share the data, and then build data driven insights um, for sales opportunities, for business goals that are aligned with your offerings, right? Uh, your existing customers are giving you good revenue, but they're also exploring to buy more from other vendors in the market, and there are services available today to show you the customer intent signals like this, what your customers or your prospects are doing on the internet space uh, with your competitors maybe, or with other even like some different kind of products um, they are they are interested to buy and exploring, and they may not know that you also have that, right? So uh, keep an eye on those kind of data through that customer data profiling, and train your stack also with an omni-channel experience. So there is an email trigger to customers, which is very much personalized and relevant to their activity, and then predict the next possible step, the most likely next step that customers can make to to make a decision, right? So, and you can only do that with like the full view of your customers and understand their intent signal, know their pain points, know their budget, and what are they doing, and how happy or not happy they are with your business, so that you can change the perception if you can. And customer experience is my favorite topic among every single thing we are talking. So, and I don't want to ignore the globalization element of customer, because even within US, uh, there is a very diversified population. We have like, especially in California, it's like a world tour within a state. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and like and I do prioritize globalization element, because again, in the end, what we want is to connect with our customers emotionally and logically, so that like they stay with us and they stay happy with us. So even a little things like hello, right? Hello is a globally accepted greeting. Okay, hello, everyone understands on the planet. But to an Indian, like if you greet with your systems greet like namaste, it is so nice to see like this. Or like in Singapore, talking to you to take that example, like ni hao, right? I don't know how to say, but like it makes difference. Like when you visit a system and a website maybe, or like or you receive an email with a greet like ni hao, or I receive with namaste. I mean that makes a big difference. I mean even if the message is in English, but like starts like this will make difference. It's a little suggestion, right? It works really to connect emotionally with us, like with humans and with customers. So yeah, globalization I think should be included in the digital strategy for sure when it comes um, to focus on the customer experience side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody wants to feel like they matter, right? Like you,
Correct.
especially if the customer has been with you for a while, they want to know that you actually know them.
Correct.
In terms of what their interests, in terms of the relationship that they have with you, what they've bought from you before versus what they need. So a lot of data is needed actually to in order for you to form that so-called the 360 profile of them. But I think till now, companies actually still struggle with that. Getting all the necessary data, be it from the customer information data, paired with the marketing data they are getting in terms of the digital footprint. I think it's still very hard. It's still a challenge for companies to kind of connect the dots to form that big picture perspective of their customer. And I do absolutely agree as well. I think ultimately, customer experience is really about showing up for them when they need you the most,
Hmm.
not failing them, be reliable, be that trusted partner where they need you the most, and also be present, even when they don't need you. But as a reminder, be present, let them know that you're there, let them know through touch points, let them know through communications, proactive communications, because sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind for even customers. And companies really don't spend nearly enough attention on customer retention versus customer acquisition. I'm still seeing
Yes.
even very established companies that has been around for a long time, they are still over indexing on acquisition, like easily at least more than 50% of their budget is still spent on acquiring. And that's because I think a lot of them are not quite measuring churn and not quite investing on longer term retention, or they are not looking at the longer term kind of cost savings perspective when it comes to customer relationship management, or worse, they don't even have a customer relationship management system, which is the key, to start, building that profile at the get-go. Have a good CRM so that you can start building and you can start tracking the engagement. You can understand your customers' interests beyond just pushing out ads to them. If you are also pushing out a lot of content, if you are having them invited to your events, you want to know what is it that makes them tick. What kind of content is getting you that customer. What are they engaging with, and what kind of events they like to attend. That's how you kind of understand them as a whole person, rather than just continuously
Mm.
just pushing maybe lower hanging promotional tactics to them, because not everybody just wants to constantly buy and be asked to buy from you all the time. They do appreciate insights, they do appreciate value added services, value added information. We are in a very knowledge driven economy right now. But I
Yeah.
know that we are filled with a lot of noise, a lot of content, but the thing is, what is it that they would like to know most from you? Make an effort to make it two-way by engaging with them for feedback consistently. That's also where I find sometimes the NPS is good as a whole, but beyond just NPS, I think companies need to do more to engage customers for feedback. Because my biggest beef with the NPS per se, from a customer perspective, is sometimes I have this engagement with the company, right, for this service, but I might not like the entire experience. But then the NPS just makes it very generic, like, and it asked me to just give a rating at the end of it. But I would like something more deeper dive, like more detail, um where maybe I don't like this aspect of the product, but I like this person's service, or I don't like the pricing, but I like the concept as a whole. I want to be able to provide that kind of feedback, now and then, where then, if from a company perspective, I think it'll be a bit more meaningful if they can collect such feedback from customers on an ad hoc basis, or on a occasional basis kind of thing, rather than just rely on one track or one type of measurement to measure customer experience. I think, yeah, that's kind of my take. And localization, absolutely, it makes the customer feel like you understand their culture, you're making an
Yeah.
effort to connect with them at that level, right? Now there's like pronouns and things like that, but sometimes companies can't even get the most basic hygiene right, right? Like, they don't even know the customer's name, or they don't even bother to address them by their name. That to me says a lot about how sincere
Hmm.
the company is actually, in terms of the relationship that they have with the customer at a personal level. That is, yeah.
Even the tone and the messaging sometimes need to be adjusted for
Yeah.
different, like, local people, right? Yeah, localized
For
people.
sure.
Yeah, so that's yeah, definitely great.
Mm,
Thank you, Jess. Great insights today. So
mm.
with that, we wrap over today's episode, customer-centric digital models, and we'll be back with our next topic, which is data-driven decision making, and we'll go through the similar questions. Thank you, Jess.
Thank you, Nev. That one would be a good one. Well, data driven,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
important.
data-driven.
Yes.
There's a lot to talk about
Yes.
that. Yeah, yep.
Not emotion driven, not all emotion driven. Yes.
It is. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that more in the next session. Yeah, but like 100% data-driven dependency is also a little crazy, I would say. Some due diligence is required on top of that. Oh, yeah, that's
There is some
that's
emotion.
the
There is
suspense
emotion
part.
tagged to it.
Yeah, that's the suspense part for the next episode. Let's talk
Yeah.
in more detail
Yeah.
there.
For sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Nev.
Thank you.